Have you ever felt this, this weight? A kind of a heavy, nagging feeling about the environment that a lot of us are carrying around, but we don't really have a name for it. Well, today we're going to get into what that feeling really is.
I mean, does that hit home for you? It's that specific, hard-to-pin-down ache. It's not just worrying about the future. It's this deep sense of loss for things that are changing right now, in front of our eyes.
And look, if that is you, if you've been carrying this around, wondering, what is wrong with me? Why can't I just shake this? Then this is for you. We're going to offer a different, and I think much more accurate, way to understand it. So let's start by just sitting with that feeling for a second. A huge reason it feels so lonely is because it doesn't have a name, right? It just kind of shows up, often at the weirdest times, and leaves you feeling like you're the only one carrying all this weight. You know how it happens? You're just scrolling online and bam, you see a headline you really wish you could unsee. Or maybe it's at the end of a summer that just felt off, hotter, drier, just different. Or, and this is a big one, you're in a conversation and you realize you're the only person in the room who can't seem to just move on. That's when it feels really, really isolating. Okay, so the very first step to getting a handle on this is just to give it a name. But, and this is super important, we are not talking about a medical diagnosis. Not at all. This isn't about pathologizing you. It's about accurately describing a real experience that a lot of people are having. All right, so the first term you've probably heard is eco-anxiety. And yeah, it's about a fear of what's coming. But here's the part of the definition I think really gets to the heart of it. It's the persistent experience of registering what is being lost in the present. It's a low-grade ache for what's disappearing right now. And then there's this other, more specific word, solastalgia. Think of it like this. It's not nostalgia for a home you left behind. It's a kind of homesickness you feel while you're still at home because the place you love is changing for the worst right in front of you. So here it is. This is the absolute key to this whole thing. Neither of these are considered mental disorders. In fact, major institutions like the American Psychological Association call them rational responses to a real, documented, ongoing threat. Let me say that again. A rational response, not a flaw. Which, of course, brings up a massive question. If this feeling is so rational, why does it so often feel like a personal failing? Why does it feel so much like shame? Well, it turns out the answer isn't something wrong inside of you. The answer is structural. To understand this, we need to borrow a really powerful idea from grief counseling. It's called disenfranchised grief, and it's basically grief that society doesn't give you permission to have. There are no rituals for it, no greeting cards, no shared language to even talk about it. You've definitely seen this before. Think about the intense grief of losing a pet that was part of your family for 15 years, or the pain of a miscarriage, or mourning the end of a really important relationship that other people didn't take seriously. The losses are real, but our culture kind of forces people to grieve them alone. And here's where it all clicks into place. Ecological grief is a form of disenfranchised grief. The sadness you feel for a species you'll never see, or a force that's gone forever, those are real losses. But our world has no funerals for glaciers, no mourning rituals for lost ecosystems. And when a real feeling has nowhere to go on the outside, it turns inward. It becomes shame. We start to think the problem is us. This right here is where we can make a shift that changes everything. It's about drawing a hard line in the sand between thinking your feeling is a flaw and realizing your feeling is simply accurate. And that distinction makes all the difference. Let's put this side by side because it makes it so clear. Clinical anxiety is often described as a fear response that's disproportionate to the actual danger. Your internal fire alarm is going off when there's no fire. It's a misfire. But eco-anxiety? That's your fire alarm going off because the house is actually on fire. It's not a misfire, it's a perfectly functioning signal. I really want you to let that sink in. Your internal feelings are matching the external reality. The problem isn't you. The problem is living in a culture that often acts like the alarm isn't ringing, which then makes you feel crazy for hearing it. So, what's the point? What actually changes once you see it this way? Well, it allows you to stop trying to solve the wrong problem, fixing yourself, and lets you start asking the right questions. It's a huge shift in power. You see, when you think the problem is a flaw inside of you, the only question that makes sense is, how do I stop feeling this? How do I make it go away? And that question is a trap. It keeps you stuck, focused inward. But the moment you accept that your feelings are an accurate perception of reality, the question totally flips. It becomes, okay, so I'm seeing the situation clearly. What does a person do with that information? Now that is a question that has somewhere to go. And here's the immediate payoff. You get to stop the secondary injury. You get to stop beating yourself up for feeling bad. It's like you've been carrying two heavy bags. One is the grief and anxiety, and the other is the shame about it. This allows you to put the bag of shame down. And that frees up a ton of energy. If you remember one thing from this whole explainer, please let it be this. This isn't just a nice, fluffy platitude. This is the most accurate way to describe what's happening. You are not overly emotional. You're not too sensitive. You are simply paying attention. So we'll end on this. You are not broken. You are not overreacting. And you are most definitely not the only one feeling this way. Recognizing the weight you feel is real isn't the problem. It's the only possible place that a real solution can begin.